When it comes to freelancing, there are hundreds of services you can offer as a freelancer. In this video, we are going to talk about 5 freelancing services you can start offering as an African freelancer. Hi there, my name is Sadiq Umar. I am a full-time freelancer, and this video is going to be based on my personal experience of being a full-time freelancer. When it comes to choosing the right service to start offering as African freelancer, you are going to need to consider several factors. And that is why before we dive into the 5 services I am recommending for African freelancers, we are going to explore several factors that you should consider when choosing the right service to start offering. Here are the important things to keep in mind when choosing the right service to start offering as African freelancer. The first thing you should consider is you should choose a service that is easy to learn. You should choose a skill that is easy for you to learn. Many skills are going to take time, a lot of time to learn if you have no background in it. For example, if you decide to become a game developer, a mobile game developer, Android developer, or app developer, it is going to take time for you to learn JavaScript, to learn C#, to learn programming languages that depending on the game engine you choose to work with. So unless you have an experience in programming, you have some experience in game development or app development, it is going to be a wrong idea to choose to become a game developer when you are just starting out, because it will take you hundreds of hours in order to learn all the skills needed to become a game developer. And when you are just learning skills without implementing, you are learning without starting the actual job itself, it might lead to burnout, and you might lose your motivation on the way, and you might end up never getting started. So it is best to consider choosing a service that is going to be easy for you to learn. And that is why all the services I'm going to recommend in this video are going to be easy to learn for most people. The next thing to consider when choosing a service is you should choose a service that doesn't require a lot of bandwidth to work with. As African freelancers, especially if you are you're just starting out, you probably have limited resources. You probably have one computer, and your computer might have a limited bandwidth. And if you choose to sell a service that requires a lot of bandwidth, I remember when I got started, I had one personal computer, and that one personal computer can only run on Windows 8. And when I am using a browser, I can only open two tabs in a browser. If I open more than 2 tabs in a browser at the same time, the computer will start to slow down. And so I had to work with 1 tab or 2 tabs. So if you are starting with limited resources, your computer might probably not be suitable for many projects. So choose a service that doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. Some part of our countries have not very reliable internet connection. So if you choose a service that requires a lot of bandwidth, you might have an issue with internet connection at some point. So it's important to choose a service that doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. Next, you shall consider choosing a service that doesn't require too much access to your client software. As African freelancer, you are going to come across this challenge several times when you are just getting started with no reviews and no credibility. Some clients from other countries are going to have a hard time trusting you with a sensitive level access to their business, to some software of their business. So if you choose to sell a service that require, let's say, access to a control panel, to their website control panel, some clients are going to feel a little bit scared with trusting you with that level of access. So if you are just getting started, it will be best to choose a service that doesn't require a high level of access to your client software, at least until you get your first few reviews and you completed a few projects. Next, you should consider choosing a service that doesn't require a virtual meeting with client. At least when you are getting started, you have limited resources, your computer might not be that strong, and your internet connection is not going to be that reliable when you are just getting started. You have to have some money to invest in a good network, a reliable internet connection. You should choose a service that doesn't require you doing a virtual meeting with a client, because a virtual meeting is going to need a lot of bandwidth, a computer bandwidth, especially when you are going to go in a meeting, you are going to share your screen in a Zoom or TeamViewer or something like that. Your computer might start to slow down, and that is going to be a red flag for the client. And also you may encounter an internet connection issue. while doing a virtual meeting with client. I will recommend you start with a service that doesn't require a virtual meeting with client. Next, consider choosing a service that doesn't require talking to people on the phone. When you are just getting started, you probably have an African accent. Like when I got started, I still have an accent. And if you have a strong African accent, if you choose to be a cold caller or a customer service representative, easier if it is a customer service representative. When people call, they just want to get something done. And even if it is a customer service representative, when people call, you have an accent, they might have a hard time understanding you, and they might end up giving you bad review, bad feedback. So same thing when you are doing a cold calling. Let's say you are doing a real estate cold calling. You are calling people to sell something to them, and you call them in another country. Let's say you call an American trying to sell a service to them, and you are speaking with a strong African accent. You are going to sound a lot like a scammer to them. So that might not going to work for you. So if you have a strong accent, you are starting as an African, you probably have these issues. So it's best to start selling a service that doesn't require talking to people on the phone. Okay, with this information in mind, here are 5 skills I recommend you start with as an African freelancer. The first service I am recommending is video editing. I know you might be thinking video editing is saturated, there are too many video editors. There is not. I don't think there is ever going to be too many video editors. And also, even if there are too many freelancers selling video editing services, what you can do is you can just be a little creative and separate yourself. I know there are too many video editors, but I don't see a lot of vertical video editors. So you can start with being a vertical video editor. Vertical video is the video that you use in YouTube Short, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. So you can just learn how to add those nice captions and emojis in the caption, and how to cut a long video into a short video format, and you can learn these skills. It is not going to take too much time to learn this skill. And when you learn how to create a very interesting vertical video, you can become a vertical video editor. And this is something I don't see many freelancers offering as a service itself. Most people are just offering video editing, and if you separate yourself as a vertical video editor, you can build your reputation on that. So this is the first service I recommend you start with. The next service I am recommending is audio editing, and this is even easier to learn than video editing. You can just grab a free audio editing software such as Audacity, and you can learn how to cut and join, add background music, add some transitions, add some cool effects, and you'll become an audio editor. And audio editing is a service that podcasts require. And there are many new podcasts every single day. So the demand for audio editors is increasing. So becoming an audio editor for podcasters is going to be a good opportunity for African freelancers. Next is AI content writer. We all know ChatGPT. So even before ChatGPT, there are many AI content writers. There are Jasper, there are Weebly, there are many AI content writing softwares even before ChatGPT. But with ChatGPT now, you can write content for free. You can use ChatGPT to write content for free. So, and there are many people who are looking for content writer, AI-based content writer. Depending on your English writing skills and your interest, it is not going to take too much time to learn how to write content with AI. And you can write many things such as email newsletter, Facebook posts, social media posts in general, SEO articles, video script. There are a lot of things you can write with AI, and some people are looking specifically for AI-based content writer. So you can learn how to use ChatGPT or any other AI content writing, and you can become AI content writer easily. Okay, next is transcription. Transcription is basically you get an audio from someone, audio or video, and you transcribe the audio. You transcribe the audio into text, and there are many software that will allow you to do that. I personally use Descript for transcription, and there are many other alternatives. So you can just find a software that will allow you to transcribe audio. You can learn how to use the software, and you can start offering transcription services. Okay, next is graphic design. I know there are many freelancers offering graphic design, and that is for a reason. Every business and every entrepreneur are going to need a graphic designer at some point in their career. And even not more than once. I myself, I hired graphic designers several times before, sometimes for a client, sometimes for myself. And graphic design itself is broad, it's very broad. You can choose one part of graphic design to master it and become a graphic designer. You can choose to create business cards. You can choose to do t-shirt design. You can choose to do poster. You can choose to do website banners. There are many things you can do in graphic design. So choose one part of graphic design, learn and master the skills required, and start offering graphic design services. These are the 5 best skills I'm recommending for African freelancers, and ultimately the best skill is going to depend on your uniqueness. So consider the factors I mentioned in the beginning of this video to choose the best service to start offering as a freelancer. And like I always say, you have to be patient and be willing to learn and develop your skills and become really good at what you do. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.